What is up, everybody? How's everybody doing? This is Phil, the Kaiju King. Welcome back to my channel, and today was a X Plus box day for me. And it was the D4Real, pretty much the set of the D4Real X Plus D4Real series, Anguirus 1955 and Godzilla 1955. And here are the boxes. Pretty standard fare boxes with the D4Real line. Pretty much same design, same concept, same everything on these boxes. They pretty much keep them the same, except for the Kong Skull Island ones. Their boxes are pretty cool, I think. But these are standard box. They do package them well, of course, and open front window and everything, so you can kind of see the figure. And it's wrapped in plastic inside the plastic shell, so they do a good job. I like how it has the 65 years of Godzilla on the front and the Japanese lettering for the kaiju and the movie. Actually, for the kaiju there. It's pretty nice boxes. Pretty standard fare, though. Alright, I will bring forth the actual figures. The X Plus D4Real Godzilla 1955 and Anguirus 1955. And let's do that right now. Alright, everybody, I'm back, and here they are, the X Plus D4Real series Anguirus and Godzilla 1955 from the classic movie Godzilla Raids Again, classic film. I do have the camera pulled in, by the way, and that's on purpose because I want to focus in on these figures. They are smaller, so that's why my camera is pulled in a bit more than usual. But they're nice little figures, and epic from a nice film in the Godzilla franchise, and it's a very significant film in my opinion. And the significance of the film is because of this guy, Anguirus, the introduction of another kaiju in the pantheon of the Godzilla franchise. In the it spelled out what was to come in the long run of movies from 1955 all the way till the 1984 film. Godzilla was involved in fighting at least one other kaiju in every movie, if you think about it. And then it missed 84, there was no other kaiju, but then it went right on into 89 through 95, then 2000, 2001, 99, 2000, 2001, all the way up through the 2000 movies. Godzilla fought another kaiju except for the 84 film, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty cool that it all started with this guy, Anguirus, in the 1955 film Godzilla Raids Again. So that is why the movie is so significant, in my opinion, is just because of the introduction of another kaiju and the kaiju versus kaiju fighting, which commenced after that for a very long run and a brief break in 84, and then it got right back into more kaiju on kaiju action after that. So it's pretty significant, I think, is the introduction of Anguirus. And it brought along so many wonderful and uniquely designed kaiju in the Godzilla franchise. And I'm very thankful that Anguirus was the beginning, because I think Anguirus is a pretty cool kaiju. Of course, Anguirus in this film, both Godzilla and Anguirus were kind of like protagonists in the film. They didn't really care about humanity or anything, and they were just in a constant struggle and a constant fight. And so Godzilla did put Anguirus down in the film, defeated him, and then Godzilla went on to rampage until they figured out how to overcome him by encasing him in an icy tomb at the end of the film. And it's a pretty good movie. I do like it, and I love it because of the kaiju on kaiju introduction of the kaiju on kaiju battles, which was very prevalent in the Godzilla franchise, as we all know. These are two really nicely done little figures, in my opinion. They X Plus really did good on these. I love the monochrome look and the monochrome styling of the paint jobs, the black and white and the gray, just like the film, so it kind of makes sense. But they're nicely done little figures nonetheless. Back here, as you can see, they both have a curly tail that curls off to their left. But they both tail goes down, touches flat and even. Nicely done. Of course, Anguirus here has the many spikes on his tail, and of course his spiky shelled back. Very prevalent, very spiky, very pointy too, by the way. But just nicely done and nicely detailed. How they managed to lay out his spikes, and I mean it's all miniature size because it's a deferral line, but they did a nice job with the sculpting of this shell on Anguirus's back. Nice job with Godzilla's dorsal plates on his back. Very cool and nicely done. Of course, like I said, everything's monotone black and gray and white on these figures, which is really neat, I think. Nicely done sculpting of the skin on Godzilla and the textures on Anguirus. Very nicely captured in both of these figures. I think they did a really nice job with these, and they captured the look of these kaiju, especially Godzilla in my opinion. If you look at him head on, he really does look like the 55 Godzilla. He has a nice protruding ears that stick off of his on either side of his head, and then his nice smooth brow line, brow ridge there, and then nice sculpting of his nose. The teeth are individually sculpted in his mouth, very nicely done. They're all very light gray color. So is the finger, claws, and the toenails on Godzilla and Anguirus as well. Individually sculpted on that. And then Anguirus, of course, he has his nice crown on the spike crown on the top of his head here. It's nicely done. Of course, the inner ones are bigger and the outer ones are smaller, and they're nicely done, like gray and collar. Of course, both their eyes are white pupils white eyes with a black pupil. And then Anguirus has a nice horn on his nose, of course, nice eyebrow definition, nice sculpting of the skin on his face, nice sculpting of the horn on his nose. Teeth are individually sculpted in Anguirus's mouth. Very nicely done, light gray, just the same as Godzilla's. But I do love the monotone color and the black and white theme of these two figures. They capture it rather well with both Godzilla and Anguirus, and it was very significant in the movie, in the film. And I love Anguirus's pose, especially because he has one paw kind of touching the ground, supporting himself, and he's going up kind of in a two-legged stance, which if you remember in the film, he did that a lot when he was battling Godzilla. He was always up on his hind legs in a constant battle and struggle against Godzilla. And then Godzilla, of course, pretty nice pose, like he's turning to confront Anguirus. His head is turned slightly to his left, but they're really nicely done little figures, and X Plus captured them real well. Nice additions to the D4 line here. And I'm really cool that they did this like this. I know the Rick edition, if I'm not mistaken, they did come as a set in one box, and they had the color scheme from the poster on them. I think Godzilla had some red on his stomach and such, and they looked pretty cool. But I went with the standard on these. I just thought these would be fine. I would like these like this, and I'm glad I went with the standard because they got the monochrome paint job, and they remind you more of the movie. But the Rick ones do look pretty cool, though, I must admit. And I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, they came in a one box together as an actual set, where mine were boxed individually. But these are really cool little figures, and I love this line. I never thought I'd love it this much, but I certainly do. And they're great little additions to the lineup, and I love the addition of the Anguirus, because now we've got Anguirus, we've got Destroya, we've got Hedorah, we're starting to get non-Godzillas in the line, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's pretty cool. Of course, we got some King of the Monsters coming. I've actually got a standard of the Ghidorah on the way. It's actually stateside now. Hopefully, maybe I'll get it tomorrow or Friday. But I got the standard, and I've seen some pictures in the X Plus group of Ghidorah, and shaky. Some of the pictures are shaky and questionable best, but I'll hold judgment until I actually have him in hand before I hold my judgment on Ghidorah. But he looks like he's a pretty imposing little do-for-real, though. Looks like he's kind of big, though, which will be pretty cool to see. So hopefully I'll get him in the next day or two. But I do love this little set. It's cool that they released them as a set as the Rick edition, and but I just thought standard was the way to go with these. I like the monochrome paint job. That's basically why I went standard. So, but they're nicely done little figures, no doubt. If you're a fan of this film, I would highly recommend them. I mean, my set costed about $130 maybe shipped, something like that, right in that range to where I'm at, which is in Ohio. So I think it was around 130 bucks, 135, something like that, shipped for both of them. So I don't think that's too bad. I got mine off Hobby Search. I think they're still available on Hobby Search too. They're nice little addition to the lineup of the D4Real series. All right, I'll bring forth a couple of other D4Reals for a size comparison real quick. Let's do that right now. All right, everybody, I'm back, and here is the D4Real X Plus Godzilla 1971 Standard Edition. I have the Rick on that as well, and the Rick edition of the Godzilla 1962 D4Reals for a little size comparison with these two. They're all generally almost the same size. I'd say the biggest one so far has been Destroya overall, with a close following, in my opinion, of the Godzilla Earth. It's pretty bulky and big too, but those two to me are the biggest two out of the lineup. The Kong versus the Skullcrawler D4Real is really big, but the Skullcrawler's climbed up on him and he's fighting him with him, like climbed up over top of him. So that's kind of a combo sculpt, so I don't really count that one. As far as singular figures go, definitely Destroya and the Godzilla Earth to me are the two biggest ones as far as mass and overall girth and everything. But these are all very similar in size, though. They're really cool, though. All right, I'll move on to some final thoughts on Anguirus and Godzilla 55, and let's do that right now. All right, everybody. Box day, like I said, once again for me, the X Plus D4Real Godzilla 1955 and the X Plus D4Real Anguirus 1955. And look at this nice detail of the back, spikes on his back and on his tail. Very nicely done on Anguirus. They did a good job on both of these. Captured their flair. Of course, the D4Real line is known for the little tiny bodies and the oversized heads, but they have all that and they look crazy and cute and aggressive and all that, but they also hold accuracies from the suit, so which is really cool. Every one of them I've ever got, you can see accuracies in the suit. I will say that Anguirus, if you look at him face on, he looks kind of goofy to me. he looks like a warped dog or something. I don't know. He's pretty goofy looking, but still really cool though. I like seeing Anguirus in particular because that means they're going to branch out, and of course they've announced Space Godzilla and King Caesar as well, which is really cool. Hopefully that means we're going to get a 74 Godzilla and a 74 Mechagodzilla. That would be really neat. And then some more Heisei Godzillas. We don't have a lot of Heisei Godzillas in this line, actually. They went heavy on Showa in this line so far, really. There's quite a few Showa now, so that's pretty cool, though. I love that. But I love this lineup overall. They're really neat, nicely detailed little fellows. They don't take up a lot of space. They're not super overly expensive like some of the other X Plus figures can be. And they're really, really cool little fellows, I must say. Happy I did end up getting these, and I did not pre-order them because when they were up for pre-order I was off with some foot surgery and I had to watch my expenditures while I was off for a few months, so I just knew that Hobby Search usually carries some of these, so when I a week right before they got released, I went ahead and put a reserve on them and got them. So they're really neat little figures. I know a lot of people posted about them in the X Plus group, and I'm definitely happy I got them, and I'm sure everyone else that has seen them are really happy with them. They're really nice little figures. Alright, I'll bring the camera closer now and do a close-up of these guys and close my video. I want to thank everyone for their time and attention and tuning into my channel. You can like the video and comment below if you like. This is Phil the Kaiju King from my collection room in Greater Cincinnati, and me and Anguirus 1955 and Godzilla 1955 wished you all a very blessed day.